Estero, Florida, located in Lee County along the Gulf Coast, has a rich history that spans thousands of years, evolving from a hub of indigenous culture to a modern, affluent community. The name Estero, Spanish for estuary, reflects its geographic position where the Estero River meets the sea at Estero Bay. Pre-Columbian and early history. Estero's history begins with the Calusa Indians, who inhabited the region around 500 BC. Numbering up to 50,000 at their peak, the Calusa were skilled sailors and fishermen, using nets to catch fish like mullet and pinfish, and spears for eels and turtles. They built shell mounds, with Mound Key and Estero Bay serving as their ceremonial center when Spanish explorers arrived in the early 1500s. The Calusa resisted Spanish colonization, notably clashing with Ponce de Leon in 1513 and 1521, during which he was mortally wounded. By the late 1700s, disease, hostilities, and political upheaval led to their decline, with Creek Indians and Cuban fishermen establishing seasonal fishing villages, or ranchos, in the area. 19th century, early settlement and citrus industry. European American settlement began in earnest after Florida became a U.S. state in 1845. The Homestead Act of 1862 spurred development, with early settlers like the Alvarez, Fernandez, Johnson, and Soto families living on Mound Key and later moving upriver to what became Estero. By the late 1800s, Estero was a major citrus-producing area. Gustav Dam Kohler, the first documented homesteader in 1882, farmed citrus along the Estero River, shipping harvests north via the Gulf of Mexico. In 1900, Daniel Augustus Green Flowery established one of the world's largest citrus groves, with 60,000 trees on 200 acres. In 1894, Cyrus Teed, a utopian visionary, founded the Koreshan Unity, a communal society based on his belief that the universe existed within a giant hollow sphere. Teed and his followers settled along the Estero River, with Dam Kohler donating his 320-acre tract to the group. The Koreshans incorporated the town of Estero in 1904, spanning 110 square miles, one of the largest municipal boundaries in Florida at the time. They established a post office, store, blacksmith, sawmill, schools, and an art hall for their symphony and theater, planting exotic vegetation now preserved at the Koreshan State Historic Site. However, local opposition led to the town's dissolution in 1907, and Teed's death in 1908, despite his claim of immortality, weakened the group. By 1961, the remaining Koreshans donated their land to the state, creating the Koreshan State Historic Site. Early 20th century, growth and challenges. Estero's early 20th century development centered around the Estero River, with fishing and citrus as economic mainstays. The Estero Creek School, built in 1904, served the community but faced restrictions against Koreshan influence due to local tensions. The school operated until 1927, with a brief closure after a 1910 hurricane. In 1917, Edith Campbell Traybell became Estero's first female entrepreneur, running a tropical fruit business whose mango chutney gained fame at New York's Waldorf Astoria. The Seaboard Airline Railroad's Orange Blossom Special passed through Estero in 1927, connecting it to Naples and boosting regional access. Mid-20th century, transition and modernization development remained slow until the 1950s, when tourism and modernization took hold. The Koreshan Post Office, initially inadequate, was relocated to San Carlos Park in 1960 but returned to Estero in 1983 through efforts by the Koreshan Foundation. By the 1970s, settlement began to spread beyond the river, driven by infrastructure improvements and Florida's growing reputation as a vacation destination. Late 20th to early 21st century, rapid growth and incorporation. The 1990s marked a turning point with the establishment of Florida Gulf Coast University, Germain, now Hertz, Marina, and major retail centers like Miramar Outlets and Coconut Point Mall. These developments spurred residential and commercial growth, transforming Estero into a suburban hub. In 2001, the Estero Council of Community Leaders, ECCL, formed to guide development, establishing architectural and landscaping standards that define Estero's aesthetic, seen in places like Coconut Point Mall. By 2013, community leaders, led by Nick Batos, pushed for incorporation to give residents greater control over development. After 33 community meetings, 2 town halls, and 10,238 signed petitions, 86% of voters approved incorporation in a November 2014 referendum. On December 31, 2014, Estero became a village, with Batos elected as its first mayor in 2015. The village adopted a seal in 2020 and earned a AAA bond rating in 2024, reflecting financial stability. Modern Estero today, Estero is a thriving community of 37,258, 2022 estimate, known for its high-end shopping, dining, and recreational opportunities. It encompasses 25.4 square miles, with 4% water, and is home to 2 state parks, Mount Key Archaeological State Park, accessible only by boat, and the Corishan State Historic Site. The Estero Bay Preserve State Park, Florida's first aquatic preserve, offers 11,381 acres for wildlife and recreation. Estero hosts 11 golf courses, Hertz Arena, home of the Florida Everblades hockey team, and Florida Gulf Coast University. Its proximity to Southwest Florida International Airport and gated communities like Pelican Sound and Cascades at Estero make it a desirable retirement and family destination. In 2019, Estero ranked number 8 by USA Today for high homeownership rates, 85.5%. Estero's history reflects a blend of indigenous heritage, utopian experiments, agricultural roots, and modern planned development, making it a unique and vibrant part of Southwest Florida.